Mason, thanks so much for the extra claps, man. That was nice of you. I appreciate it. I knew where that was coming from, too, so I appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for spending this beautiful afternoon inside with me. I appreciate it. I'm from New Hampshire, so this is particularly rewarding that you're hanging out with me instead of in 70-degree San Diego weather. We're going to talk about accelerating complex deals with contact-level marketing. We work with a lot of customers that do one of two types of sales processes, either complex deals, which we think of are like 3 months or longer sales cycles, or rapid sales cycles, which can be as short as a day or two or as long as up to 3 months. So this is going to particularly focus on the longer sales cycles and how contact-level marketing can support that. I'm actually going to test your AV system. I'm going to zap forward about 20 slides, and then I'm going to come back to the beginning, so I hope you guys don't mind. I wanted to start with the end and then go back to the beginning, as I sometimes do. So this is, if you guys use Salesforce or HubSpot or any other CRM system, we end up looking at like not only the process of doing helping support complex sales cycles, but like measuring the output as well. So one of the main goals of today's session is going to be about talking about how we can measure attribution through the entire cycle. So you'll see my favorite part of this. Let's see, do I have a laser pointer on this thing? No. Oh, yeah, I do. So at the bottom here, we measure how many clicks influenced the creation of an opportunity, how many impressions, how many sales touches that were part of, in particular, an ABM campaign or a contact level marketing campaign, and then how many website visits. So we're measuring the contact level engagement that helped influence the creation of the opportunity. And then on the other half of this, we measure the same engagement as the opportunity moves through its life cycle. So early stage, mid funnel, and bottom of funnel. So we're tracking like how did the marketing activities that you all helped activate result in actual revenue in the system, pipeline, velocity? Did we shave days, weeks, months off of a deal because somebody was properly informed as they went through the sales cycle? So super important piece of the puzzle. Now the rest of this presentation is basically going to be about how the hell do we get this data, how do we understand this, and how do we activate it within the different systems. So the three main pieces that we're going to walk through today are how to, first of all, influence the creation of new opportunities with contact level marketing. So the awareness and engagement phases of creating an opportunity, creating the interactions with the customer. Then we're going to talk about conversion into pipeline and helping prioritize those touches for sales. And then lastly, we're going to talk about that pipeline acceleration I mentioned a minute ago and how to move a deal faster through the life cycle and how to measure that. So phase one, generate awareness and engagement. So the whole point of contact level marketing, as it says in the name, is to actually target the contacts, not just the accounts. So there's a few things that you get out of that from the beginning. First is you get more precise marketing. So you're able to put messaging, assets, creative, content, landing pages in front of the people that you know are going to be receptive to that. One of my favorite examples of this is we have a customer that targets doctors and nurses at healthcare centers all over the country. And they don't want to just target every doctor and nurse. They want to target ones that have specific skills in stroke rehabilitation so that they can put the messaging in front of them that is relevant to their specific skill set. So it's a way to segment an audience. It's a way to slice it down into the right people, and then serving ads and messaging to them at like that specific contact level that drives that conversion. So that's where that personalized omni-channel campaign motion will come in. We'll talk about the channels to push this through, and then measuring the engagement. So to kind of riff on that a little bit more, when you're generating that first level engagement, contact level list building is very different than just ICP list building and account list building. You can come at it a bunch of different ways. A few of the examples here are top-down list building, which is, if probably everybody's familiar with this, it's like intent-driven audiences starting at the account level. So which accounts are in market based on intent signifiers, find those accounts, and then you can find the buying circles or the personas at those accounts and use that as your contact list. So that's a great way to get started. I love bottom-up list building. It's one of my favorites. We do this a lot where we find every ABM marketer in the US, and then we find the companies they work for, and now we've reverse engineered like a bottom-up list that gave us the people first, and then the companies, and now we can do our ABM campaigns. So that's more common than you would think. Like a lot of people can actually run these kind of bottom-up lists and generate really targeted, segmented lists that way. CRM generated lists, it's collaborated lists with sales that you can pull straight from your CRM system. A report in Salesforce, a list, or what do they call it now in HubSpot? They just renamed it. Does anybody know? Segments, thank you. That's right. That was a test. You passed. CRM generated list is a great way to build an audience that's named accounts, and you can load that into your marketing channels. And then retargeting list is another good one. This is going to be killer when we talk about contact level website de-anonymization in a minute. But the website audiences that visit your website, retargeting not just the individual, but like the entire buying circle. So we call it ABM retargeting. So you're retargeting the entire account that visited your site. And then lifecycle lists for pipeline acceleration. So these are just a few examples. You can probably riff on some more. But if you can start with like the type of audience, type of list that you're going to build, now you can start to build out the approach to go after them as well. So I'm going to skim through this one quickly, but basically the result of that is a list of people. For us, it's a list of marketers here at this particular company. Our team graciously blacklisted the name there. And then we have their first name, last name, job title, emails, phone numbers, all the identifiable information about them. And then you can see the intent signals up and down the right side. And then what we're doing is passing them through an omni-channel motion. So the beauty of contact level marketing like this is almost every channel can consume a contact level list as long as it's formatted properly. So we have direct mail pieces that can go to not only the work address, but the home address of the individual. You've got programmatic video ads, LinkedIn ads, Google display ads. We don't have TikTok on here. That's a relatively new channel that we've activated recently. My co-founder has those fun little like speech bubbles that she holds up that says like, hey marketers, and then she flips down the next one and it says like run ABM ads on TikTok. So you can build messaging specific for the channel that you're in, and you're only targeting the contacts that you've built the list around. So let's say there's 5,000 contacts in your list times this number of channels, like you're still really tight on your budget because you're targeting individual contacts. You're not targeting kind of a broad segmented list using, let's say, TikTok's broad matching filters, or you're not targeting kind of the account level where you don't know which department, which individual is seeing your ads. Now we know we had a 85% match rate on LinkedIn. We know exactly the people that are seeing the ads on LinkedIn, and then we're able to track that back to the ROI on the other side. So contact level list building in an omni-channel way still gets you the impressions you're looking for, but it diversifies it across all these different channels. So you're everywhere when you're, sorry, I was just brain threading there. We had somebody that stopped by the booth today that said the same thing to us. It was like, I've seen you guys everywhere. Well, it's because you're part of an omni-channel campaign, and we're just like jamming our ads like very targeted across these channels to you. Oh, there's our TikTok ad. I said it wasn't there, and then there we go. So okay, phase 2. Driving and prioritizing hot leads. So let's say we're starting to serve these ads. People are seeing the impressions. We're able to track the engagement. Now you can go into these different platforms and determine impressions and clicks, but Meta historically doesn't give you details around who's clicking. They don't even tell you the companies that are clicking. LinkedIn's as close as you can get, right? They'll give you at least the companies. So in order to get that information, you need to have another way to de-anonymize the audience that's coming from those platforms. So when you look at like contact level website de-anonymization, you can tell who clicked on your ad from what source. So we do this a lot. This is one of my favorite tools, and our sales team swears by this, where if you de-anonymize the contact, whether they came from Meta or Reddit or LinkedIn or Google search, wherever they're coming from, you can attribute that contact back to the campaign that sourced them. So we can see this contact generated from Staples from a competitor conquest campaign that we ran. So they were looking at our competitors based on intent data, and then we ran some ads to them and generated a direct visit to our website based on this campaign. So some of these other visits weren't campaign-oriented, but we can tell the ones that are built on campaigns that we ran and the ones that are more broad, just visiting our site because of organic traffic or other things that are happening in the market. So it's this type of list that sales finds the most valuable, because this is like beyond impression data and click data at the ad level. This is engagement data at the website level that you're driving, and then this is what converts. I think, what does the sales team say, Marielle? Like 33% of our demos are booked from like this list alone, and your job is to drive. Marielle's our head of marketing, so she does all this work for us. And you drive all of the traffic to the site from those different ads, those ABM campaigns we're running. From there, to help sales, we score those leads that are being served those ads. Because everything's the same list of contacts and we're serving them across those different channels, we can track them back as they engage. LinkedIn gives us some good data at the account level. So we can say, oh, we targeted 5 people at Staples, and they saw collectively 100 impressions. So we have a pretty good baseline that all of them on average saw about 20 impressions. So we can qualify those 5 contacts as warm. So we can even do like contact level scoring at that level. If one of those 5, like on the previous screen, visits our website, that one becomes a hot lead and the rest stay warm. So we're able to like segment out the strength of the lead based on the actions they take and the channel that they took them through. So it gives us a lot of clarity as to whether they're engaging or not engaging. And now sales works the hot leads with verified email addresses. So we like double qualify the data for them as well. That way we know the contacts work at the company that we say they work at, and they've engaged in some capacity. So just to recap so far, it's basically, to really break it down, it's just audience building, loading those audiences into the different channels, and then measuring engagement and scoring the leads. So it's that cycle, you're just doing it at a scale that makes it worthwhile for 5,000 contacts or 2,000 contacts or 50,000 contacts. It doesn't really matter how many you have, as long as you can curate that engine and move through the motion. This is more on the scoring that we do. So for us, one of the ways we score at the contact level is every impression across every domain for each contact in the system is logged. That way we have a running history. So that data is a little harder to get. We have a display network that allows us to do that. Again, LinkedIn gives you account level data. So each channel is going to give you different varying degrees of accuracy. The website level stuff is typically the home run though, right? If they're visiting your website and it was attributed to a click, but also separately de-anonymized through a website tracker, sales is going to be all over that, and they're going to say, please give me more of those leads. Sorry, I'm going to keep bringing Marielle up. You said something earlier today that was like, and I don't mean to like put you on the spot, but it's like the leads you're giving sales, they just keep asking for more of them. And that's not a typical story. A lot of the times they're saying, I think you said to me is like, they don't want to work these leads, but our sales team is like, hey, can you give me more of these things? Because it's just like the quality is much higher when they go through this type of filtering system, because you know they're part of your ICP because that was the list you built. You know they visited your website. Just because they didn't fill out a form doesn't mean that they're not a high quality lead for sales, and sales has a much better connection rate on the other side. So it's just like a smooth engine that tends to work. And then this is another picture of Salesforce, same thing in HubSpot, but we pass all the data, we use both systems. We pass all the data into both systems. So at the account level, we're passing in all of the intent signals that they're trending on, the number of times they've trended on those topics. That way they can do account level prioritization at the sales level if they want to. So independent of contact engagement, you can still say, these accounts are the best fit accounts for us. They're doing the most research, they're engaging the most. And then we have website visits that are both at the account and contact level. So you can see what page they visited, when they visited, where they were referred from, even device types, like all the different kind of qualifying information about the website visit is stored there. And then you can see attached to that are the people that actually did the visit. It's kind of cool to be able to run a Salesforce report and say, give me every contact that visited the website in the last 30 days, and then add a filter to that that says, like, give me every contact that visited the pricing page of our website in the last 30 days. And then now sales is just like tricking down into the most valuable stuff. And then for marketers, this tends to be like some of the coolest data that we're able to pull together here is we're passing in all of that impression data and the click data directly into Salesforce records. So you're able to run a report now to say, show me every account that saw like 100 impressions in the last 30 days, or 1,000 impressions, or 1,000 impressions and had a website click. And the data is directly in the CRM system. So that image I showed you in the beginning of like the analytics with the clicks and impressions and the influence, that's where this is coming from. Because we have the data in the CRM system, we can put it into reports and dashboards now that are opportunity reports and dashboards. So we can just build an opportunity report that says, show me how many impressions were served while the campaign was active, before that opportunity was created, and it tells you the history. And now you have like provability of like, no, these impressions directly contributed to the influence of that op creation or the acceleration of the deal. And here's some examples. So just for like engaged accounts by channel, so you can see, we'll have LinkedIn up here, video ads, display ads. LinkedIn's in there different colors multiple times. But you'll see like how engaged your accounts are across your different channels over time. And then most visited web pages, most popular intent signals. We use this stuff on a near daily basis, not only to like see the results of the campaign, bless you, but also to score and like prioritize the lists for sales right inside the CRM system. All right, we're good so far? Making sense? All right, good stuff. All right, phase 3, last one. So now we're going to accelerate the pipeline through additional like influencing. So while the campaign, or once the opportunity is created, once we've influenced those deals, they visited the website, we've handed off the leads to sales, and they've started to work those, now we can broaden the reach and retarget them. And this is like, if you guys are familiar, a lot of companies use the phrase like orchestration. So this is where true campaign orchestration starts to come in here, where you're able to have like movement through the buyer's journey, where, okay, pre-funnel, they're like getting this messaging for these personas. Early stage, they're going to get this messaging. Mid-funnel, different messaging. Late funnel, different messaging. So you can like track them through the list. Okay, so what we're doing is we're tracking like the contact level engagement, as we showed you. So this person is a hot lead. They've been through the funnel. They've been targeted. And now like the next step is to take not only that person, let's say this is the person that's attached to the opportunity, right? Like you got the account, you got the primary contact. Now you can retarget based on a Salesforce report that entire audience. So what we'll do is we'll connect a dynamic report to our audience building, and we'll just say every time a new opportunity is added to the report, just update the list in LinkedIn, in Meta, in TikTok, wherever it is, with the rotating audience of opportunities at the different stages. So we have like a report for early stage, mid stage, and bottom of funnel. And those reports just feed our campaigns that we're running. So it's a really nice like 1-2 motion that's dynamic. And as a marketer, we get to set it and forget it unless we want to tune it up. So there's no like, oh, every month I got to go in and export a list and load it to all these different platforms. Like the ideal is you just turn it on, the engine is running, and then you measure the influence and then tweak as you go. And that's kind of like the optimal state as a marketer so that you don't have to go back in and like do the manual labor of rebuilding campaigns when they should be fully automated for you. And then the result of that is like in Salesforce, I like how they blacklisted like every name here. So this is normally a list of companies, but for safety's sake, they took the list off. But the idea is like inside of Salesforce, you're going to see the day they were first influenced, the last date of influence, and the last sales activity. So you can pull all this together under one roof to see that, hey, we're retargeting these contacts, we're retargeting these accounts. Some of it was during the life cycle of the opportunity. Others is before the opportunity was even created. Other times it's at renewal, which we didn't put into this deck on purpose, but like if there's a renewal phase or a cross-sell, upsell opportunity, all that stuff can be treated like the same orchestration level events within the engine here, the ABM engine. And then back to our image on this side of it. So this is the kind of the flagship of making sure this all works for the business. It's an opportunity report. Normally you have the opportunity name, the account name, the stage they're in, the close date, the opportunity amount, and then because we have all that data from those campaigns, we can tell the sales team how many clicks, impressions, website visits happened. The only things you miss from something like this are like the really obfuscated stuff, like Reddit doesn't tell us impressions by account, and we can't de-anonymize that. So we have to wait until they click, and then we can say, this was a Reddit-sourced click. Same with Meta. So those traditionally like B2C-ish channels, we can still make them actionable here, but you have to wait until the click happens. Whereas like a programmatic display network, you can actually action off of the impressions and the clicks because you can track that stuff more meaningfully up front. All right, yeah, so this is kind of like bringing it all home here. So we're tying ad clicks, website visits, and conversions back to the specific people. We're accessing like individual contact level events at every stage of their action, from the earliest touch to like the renewal cycle and everything in between. And then the sales team, again, should be the benefactors of this, where you're giving them data that's actually been actioned or like verified in the system. From the beginning, we're launching this thing with contact level lists from the start. So audiences that are built from top down, bottom up, your CRM system, website lists that are built for retargeting, renewal campaigns, things like that. You're targeting them across the different channels. And then we're helping de-anonymize the website traffic. Those are the best leads for sales to work. Typically call those the hottest cold leads. They're going to work are the ones that visited your website that never filled out a form. So handing those to sales is just such a killer way to get them excited about like more data and expanding the aperture. And then the last piece is accelerating the pipeline by making those dynamic Salesforce reports or HubSpot lists or whatever they are, feeding those into your campaigns, and then launching those kind of as an always-on, like evergreen motion to keep the campaign engine rolling and to keep the deals moving through the life cycle. And then all this stuff, again, because it should tie into your CRM system, should be captured in reports and dashboards so that you can say, this is the story of marketing's influence on pipeline. This is the story of marketing's influence on revenue. And like if we put more, it's a numbers game now. If we put more contacts in the top of this thing, we get more influence out the backside, more revenue, more opportunities created. That is a nice picture of our team. So I'm a few minutes early. I don't know if you guys have any questions, any thoughts on this. Otherwise, that's the presentation. Thanks, everybody.